Students, good morning, and on this fresh morning I welcome all of you to GYANJYOTI online classes. As you know that we are studying history in class 6. I will teach you the first chapter. Students, due to some problems, the video was not uploaded. Then once again, I will teach you chapter number 1, which I have taught you in the class. And the name of the chapter is when, where and how. Students, listen, the section 1 history is, first chapter is when, where and how. It means we will study about history. But from where? This is the first chapter of your S.ST. From where we knew about our history, about our past. The simple definition of history is the study of the past. So this can be called as to know about our past. Therefore, the first subtopic is what is history. Students, please look at the board. Then my first chapter is what is history. If we will go through the deeper insight, then we will know that the word history has been taken from Greek word historica. It means to inquire. It means to know about. We will be learning how to know about the past activities, how our ancestors and the early man, the people in the medieval era, they were staying. What about their lifestyle? How the kingdoms they ruled, and everything which is our past. In this section of the book, we will be going to study about history. Then it is also known as a fascinating story of human growth from beginning of times to the present day. It's a record of people. Yes, it can be also said that, because how we know about history, there must be some evidences, some clues, some recordings. Then it's a record of people, places and events of the past, and that have been arranged in a chronological manner. So it's chronological manner. It means serially, one after other. Means I will give an example that if a teacher in the school will ask you that, students, while coming to school or after coming to school, then you please write your daily activities in a chronological manner. Then what will you write? First of all, you will write that I get up at 6 a.m. Then I go to toilet. Then I brush my teeth. Then I take my bath. Then I take my breakfast. Then wearing uniforms, I board the school bus and come to school. So this is in a chronological manner, means serially. But can you say that, can you board the bus first, then wake up, then brush, then tiffin, then anything else, then go to sleep? No, this is not, because that is not in a serial manner. So history is studied in the chronological manner. Then students, I will write a simple definition here. It is just the study of the past. Then students, we may see some patterns, continuations, some changes and some repetitions while studying human history that we can perhaps even see happening now also. Yes, it's true. What the early men were doing in their time, in that period, it is quite possible that we are also doing that. Like I can say the discovery of fire, I can say the use of fire, that we are also using today. It is not that we are not using today. So some things may be common from that era to this modern 21st century. Initially, the study of history was mainly limited to only the stories of kings. Students, yes, it's true. You may be thinking that, sir, we are only studying the stories of the kings and queens, their battles, their invasions, their captures. No, it's not all about only this. It is much above than that. Then the wars, therefore, just like I told you, the empires. But now the scope has widened, and it includes the social, religious, and cultural aspects of the past too. Both the rich and the ordinary are included in history. Yes, simple means the poor people, how they were residing. What about the rich people? What about the caste system? How the division of labor was divided. So all those things comes under the study of history. Then students, next subtopic is why study history. The first thing you may ask is, sir, there are many subjects in our school curriculum, but why we are studying history? Why? What is the need? Yes, it's a very good question. We are studying English to improve our language skills, then mathematics, science. In S.ST, you are studying history, geography and civics. Then first of all, we'll know that why we are studying history. Yes, it's very necessary, students, to know about our past, how our ancestors were staying on. It is from their belongings, I can say, their heritage, their culture, their art, their traditions, their customs, which we are possessing. So, what we are now, it is all based on the past. We have learned from them only. Okay. Now, some of we may be wondering why should we study history? Then the first thing is that the first point is that history tells us about people, and it tells us about great kings like the poets, great kings like Chandragupta Maurya, Gupta Empire, Mughal dynasty, and so we'll study in the further classes. Then poets, saints, painters, and their lives, their achievements, what they have done, then their glory, and helps to reconstruct the lives of the ordinary people. Knowing the lives of those who lived before us helps us in turn to lead better lives where we can be inspired by their successes and learn from their mistakes. The first one is to know about the students. The first point it can be, it tells us about the people. Students, the second point, what is the second point? Secondly, we learn about the cultural developments. We learn about the cultural developments which are key to our lives. The development of languages, customs, traditions, food, dress, ornaments, and all those which took place throughout the past can be studied from history. The cultural development may be the second point. Students, cultural developments can be the second point. The third one, student, what is the third point? We cannot understand our present without knowing our past. It's very true. We are here because our past was in a good situation. Everything we see around us, how we had a beginning that took place in the past, whether they were cultural processes or scientific discoveries, or the result of political developments. History helps connect present with the past. The second most important thing is that, the third one is that it connects the history, the study of history connects with the past. I will write here, connects the present with the past. Students, then the fourth point, all the 3 points I have told you, the fourth point is why we are studying history. The fourth point is with the help of history we are studying the expressions or the experiences of different regions and people. The fourth point is studying about different experiences of different people, studying about different experiences of different regions and people. The fourth point, as I have told you that the third point, the previous point was history reconnects the present with the past. But the fourth point here is studying about experiences of different regions and people. Students, region means the place and people. The people at that time, what they were experiencing. What was their scenario, viewpoint, what was their ideology, what they were doing, what were their experiences. This is all about the fourth point of history, that why do we study history. Students, then, by learning about others, ignorance is eliminated, and then this empowers you to live with the people that are different from you. Students, these 4 points will definitely tell you that why we study history, why there is a need to study history. Students, in the S.ST there are 3 sections. The first one is history, I have told you, and we have already taught I have already taught you the first chapter of geography, civics also. So we must not ignore the subject history, because you may think that sir, it is very boring, but no, it is not like that. We must study history to know about our present. It is rightly said that history reconnects the present with the past. Then students, the past can be put into 2 categories. The first one is prehistory and the second one is history. The first one is prehistory. Students, as I have told you that the past can be put into 2 categories. The first one is prehistory and the second one is history. So what are the differences? What is the difference between prehistory and history? We must analyze it. That the story of the period before writing was invented, and it is known as prehistory. Students, I will write the definition here. The story of the period before writing was invented is known as prehistory. Was invented is known as prehistory. Before writing means when human beings, the early man, they didn't know how to write, how to read. So that period was known as prehistory. Then from this period there are no written records, because those people, they don't know how to write, how to read. The knowledge we get from this period comes from archaeology. Students, there is a very important term called archaeology. Students, archaeology. What is archaeology? So we'll study it. It is the study of material remains from the past. Students, remember, it is the study of students, you must be confusing about that. I have told you that history is the study of the past, archaeology is also the study of the past. So are they both same? You may get confused, but it is not like that. History is the study of the past, but archaeology is a branch of history which is the study of material remains of the past. Students, remember, there are 2 words. These phrases differentiates archaeology from history. Means I can say that if you excavate below the earth, then we get something, the remains of you can say temples, monuments, objects, artifacts, coins, etc., everything. So that comes under archaeology. That is the art. That is the art of studying about the excavations which you get deep inside the earth. Isn't it clear, students? Many of these material remains are found that are buried under the earth. That can be objects like bones, tools, coins, and remains of buildings. It can be monuments. So students, you may know that some of the monuments were deep buried inside they were taken out. So that is called archaeology. There is a difference. Okay, students. Then what about the second part of the past? That is called history. So what is history here? The period after the invention of writing is known as history. The simple definition: the period after the invention of writing. Known as history. Students, as I have told you, that pre-history, that period, people didn't know how to read and write, but after that invention of writing, that period is called history. So what are the sources, students? From this period we have a bounty of written sources like writing on walls, rocks, pillars, palm leaves, bark of birch trees, skin of goats and sheep, and later paper. Students, whenever you visit a archaeological place or like a monument, then you must have seen that some writings were on the walls of the temple, of that monuments, inscribed on the stones. So that one type of source of history. Students, then we will move further. How do we find about the past? Yes, it's very true. How do we know? There must be something. Yes, if somebody is there or something is there, how could you know? There must be some evidences. The different sources available to us act as the pieces to a jigsaw puzzle. Students, have you played jigsaw puzzle? There are some, I can say, some pieces of paper. You have to join them to make a complete picture. The picture may be given somewhere else. You have to join just to join it. Historians have the job of putting together these pieces to try and get a full picture. So, what are the sources? There are two types of sources in archaeology and literacy. The archaeology and literacy are the two sources of studying history to know about the past. The first one is archaeological sources. The first one is archaeological sources. Students, artifacts are objects such as the tools. The first one is artifacts. Students, the first archaeological source is the artifacts such as tools, pottery, statues, ornaments, seals, paintings and toys, which could help historians both in the cases where there are no written records as well as when they are. So, artifacts are some objects. Students, the second one is the coins. Students, have you seen coins of some previous era or 1500 to 200 years ago? Have you seen the coins? So, you must visit a person who has the hobby of collecting coins. You must try to meet him. Then he or she, they may have collected coins of the previous time or the previous years. So, coins is one of the sources of archaeological sources, because coins of gold, silver, copper and lead have all been found. Historians study these coins. Coins are very important sources of information about kings, the economic conditions, the trade and culture, and then that we can know from the study of coins. Students, one more thing. The study of coins is known as numismatics. I will write here. Students, in the middle I have written the study of coins is numismatics. Students, the third one is monuments. The third one is student monuments. That what are monuments? You may be surprising to know what are monuments. Monuments are buildings such as the temples, palaces, forts, churches, gateways that were constructed in the past and survive to this day. They are still survive. In all the old places, I can say the places where you will visit somewhere like Taj Mahal is one of the best examples, Qutub Minar, they all are monuments. From this we get valuable information about the economy, the trade, then materials available, symbolic meanings and cultural significance, political situations and the skill of the people. They all are there, and historians study about the monuments and they know about the past. Monuments are also, they not only remind of the past but are also our heritage, and it is important to us to protect this monument in all our capabilities, because these are the remains of the past. We must not damage it, we must try to conserve it as much as we can. So the last one we can say is inscriptions. Students, what are inscriptions? We will try to learn that. Inscriptions are engravings. Students, what are engravings? Means we can say writings made on solid objects like rocks, then inside of caves, pillars, metal and stone tablets. Students, please listen. There are the writings, you can say engraving, that might be in Hindi we can say खुदाई करना, पत्थरों में खुदाई करना, that is called the inscriptions. You must have seen in temples and different monuments. This gives us information about rulers, important events, their politics of time, as well as the religious and cultural life of that time. The study of inscriptions is called epigraphy. I will write here. Study is called then students, I have told you that the study of inscriptions is called epigraphy. The study of coins is called numismatics. Students, now the second source is literary sources. As we have discussed about archaeological sources in the previous few minutes, now we will study about literary sources. Students, the word literary means writing, reading. You know, it is a very simple word. So it in the simple way we can know that literary means it consists of writing and reading. So then, what are the literary sources? Handwritten records in the form of books from the past are called manuscripts. Students, the first one is the manuscripts. Students, the handwritten records are known as the manuscripts. Then the second one is sorry, so before telling the second one, let me explain about it. That how were they written? These were written mainly on dried palm leaves, the bark of birch trees, and eventually on paper. At last, when the invention of paper was done, it was written on paper, but before that, it was written on the bark of birch trees and the dried palm leaves. They are kept in a good place where no damage can be done, and that records still, if they are possible, then we can also go through it. Then, next students, many literary sources have survived the ravages of time. Historians use the existing literary works or books which were written by a people of a particular time as the source of information, for that period of time. Students, so what were written there? We must be thinking that, we must be wondering the lives of the people of the kingdom, about the lifestyle of the kings, about their works, their achievements, their glory, battles. So that may have written there, that may be written, that historians study about it, they research it, then they know about the past. But so students, the literary sources is majorly divided into two parts. The first one is religious and second one is secular literature. Students, the first part is the religious literature and the second is secular. Students, as the name suggests, religious means it is somewhat related to the religions. What were the religions at that time? The first one is, it includes those works that dealt with the religion and religious topics. First one, from ancient India, the Vedas, the Ramayanas, the Mahabharata and the Puranas were examples of Hindu religious literatures. The Jain Angas and Buddhist Tripitas are some important religious sources. Students, first of all, I will write about examples. The Ramayana, Mahabharata, then Puranas and the Vedas. Students, these are some examples of religious literature and especially about the Hindu religion. Then students, somewhere there are some also other religious literatures like the people of Jain, the Jain Angas and the Buddhist Tripitas. They are also important religious literature. Students, then next is secular literature. The second one is secular literature. So, secular literature are those literature works that are non-religious. First of all, the first one is religious, second one is non-religious. You must make it clear in your mind. Okay. Then this includes the biographies, poems, plays, works on science and politics, the accounts of foreign travelers. So, the most important one is the biographies. Students, the first one is the most important one is the biography. Then what is a biography? If somebody will ask you, then what is biography? If a person, like I will give him an example, if a person writes about my lifestyle, about me, then that is called biography. But students, listen, if a person or a writer writes about me, then that is called biography. But if I myself write about my lifestyle, about my biography, then that is called autobiography. Students, that's the difference. So is that if somebody writes about you, that is called biography, and you yourself write your biography, then it is autobiography. Then what are the examples of biographies? The Arthashastra by Kautilya, Megasthenes Sindika, the Aine Akbari and by Abu Fazl are the accounts of Chinese travelers. Swain and Huansang are all examples of secular literature. The first one is, students, Arthashastra. I will write some examples here. Arthashastra. Then the first one is Arthashastra written by Kautilya. Then second one is Indika. So these are some of the examples of secular literature. Students, then we will move further that the last 150 years of our history are the recent past. Written and printed records are available for this period. Newspapers, magazines, books, they all are written during the time provide us with information about the period. The British era, we can say, the Britishers ruled over us, and their evidences are still in some of the libraries. They were written. Newspaper was also published at that sort of time. Then many of these preserved in the archives of government. Students, there is a department called Archives, Survey of India, Archives of India, then where the government has kept all the records. There are many documents of the government where we can see, we can know about our past. Students, in the Archives of India, the government have kept some records like photographs, the cuttings, newspaper cuttings, you can say, and some written records which show us and which help us to know about the lives of the people during the recent past. Students, then our next topic is, in this chapter, the last subtopic I mentioned, time frame. Students, what is time frame? How it is how the time has been calculated, I can say, then how it has been made to know about our past. So we'll study about it further. Then, how is the time counted in history? That's the first question. It will arise in your mind that this is the 21st century. How is the century counted? You may have seen the letters BC and AD. Students, BC stands for before Christ and AD stands for Anno Domini. You all know that. There are many questions about the time when dealing with history. Traditionally, the birth of Jesus Christ. Students, the birth of Jesus Christ has been where I can say the turning point, we can say, then taken as the point from which time is counted. The birth of Jesus Christ, that's why it is said before Christ, and after that it is called Anno Domini. Then time before the date is counted backwards and it is denoted as BC, that is before Christ. Before the birth of Christ it is denoted backwards, students. And the next one, and after it, after the birth of time after the birth of Christ is written as AD, which means Anno Domini. Students, there's a difference. We know that before the birth of Jesus Christ is known as BC, and after the birth of Jesus Christ that is called Anno Domini. Then students, which is Latin, the Anno Domini, which is Latin for the year of our Lord. That the meaning, the Anno Domini is the year of the Lord in the language Latin. So 300 BC, let me give an example. If 300 BC would be 300 years before the birth of Christ, and 2000 AD is that many years after the birth of Christ. This is best understood on a number line. Students, apart from this, you may also find CE written, most of it. What does C stands for? C stands for Common Era. C stands for Common Era. Then students, this was chosen as more secular terms instead of having strong religious connections. It means maybe relating to the Christianity. So it was changed and it was chosen as a more secular term that is more universally applicable. That is called the C. That is a common era. Students, at last we'll study. That's a small pic given you. I will show it to you that if we add the word circa with any date, it means such a date is not the exact date, but it is a close to it. It is an approximate date. Some of the commonly used phrases, students, some of the commonly used phrases is, I will tell you right, 1 decade, 10 years. Students, here 1 decade is equal to 10 years. It is somewhat told, maybe hard, you may have heard about that. And second one is a century. Is equal to 100 years. A century is equal to 100 years. I have written that in short, students. Then a millennium. That is equal to how much, students? It is 1000 years. Students, in this time frame, as I have told you about BC, AD and CE, the other secular name for AD, then this is some terminologies. Decade is 10 years, then century is 100 years, and millennium is 1000 years. Students, now at the last there is a pic about the time frame. You can see the time scale. There you can then you after seeing you can understood. You maybe understand that what about BC and what is AD. We are in the AD, and before the birth of Christ it was considered as BC. Students, so in this chapter we came to know that how we are studying history, from when the history was started, I can say, and from where we do know about the sources of history. Why do we study history? Now I hope you have understood this chapter. So students, I will repeat it that while watching this video, please go through the textbook thoroughly, then only you can understand the video. Next students, if you have any doubt, then you can ask me. So for today now, I am bidding goodbye to all of you. Thank you everybody. Bye bye.